Hey, it's Dylan with Oscillator, and today I'm going to show you how to make any sample lo-fi without using any plugins whatsoever. Let's do it. So a little while ago, I came across this tweet from Helado Negro. Shout out to Helado for this great idea. You can check out his page up here, and it was in response to a question from Noah Yu. The question was this: producer and musician homies, what are your favorite plugins for lo-fi? With lo-fi meaning whatever it means to you in the broadest sense. Do not reply to this with RC20. I love the RC20. So Helado says, resample pitched up, then playback resampled sound at original speed. You will get variable artifacts depending on what gear/software you're using. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. I've done like half of this before, where I've recorded at higher speeds and then pitched down. And I've recorded at slower speeds and then sped up that sample without pitching it up. But I've never tried something like this where he says resample something sped up and then slow it down again just to see what the software does to the sample when slowing it back down. What a cool way to make something lo-fi without using any plugins. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to make any sample lo-fi without using any plugins. For example, we're going to take this sound and turn it into this sound. So it should be a lot of fun. Go down to the description for this video and you'll see I have a link to the session file and also all of the samples that we used in this project. And when you're there downloading those samples, whatever you do, don't hit that subscribe button. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video as well, because I have a few extra little surprises that are pretty fun. All right, let's jump into the session. Okay, so here we are in our session, and I've just got 5 tracks here: drums, bass, piano, FX drone, and FX ARP. Just making a little mini song to illustrate this principle. So the point of this exercise is to reduce the fidelity of an audio file without using plugins, simply by using the stretching algorithms. So we'll be using resampling and the different warp modes to create this effect using Ableton. So let's select our drums and go inside the clip view. So make sure that warping is enabled on the audio file that you want to do this to, and then we just need to make it double time. So this is slightly counterintuitive, but what we need to do is half the original tempo, so that makes it double time, right? If your audio sample is doing what it does in half the tempo, then it's double time. There we go. Now we can see our drum sample is half the length as it was before. Now we need to resample this into a new track. So we'll go to our audio track that we just created, record, enable it, go to resampling, make sure that the audio track that we want to resample is soloed, and let's record it in. Now we've got a duplicate of what we just did, but now we need to do the opposite. So I'm just going to trim the end here so that it is the correct length. And now I'm going to double the tempo of this audio file. There we go. Now we're back at the same 4-bar loop, but what we've done is we've sped it up and then slowed it down again. So let's solo this and see how it sounds. Now, with Ableton, we have all these different warp modes: beats, tones, texture, repitch, complex, and complex pro. This one by default switched to complex, but let's try beats. It sounds pretty cool.
It's definitely messed up.
But with something like this, I might change the transient loop mode and the envelope. Instead of forward to back, I might try just forward and reduce the envelope a little bit. Or we could try something like repitch. The repitch mode will change the pitch depending on the speed of the sample. Since we slowed the sample down by doubling the length, it's now pitched down an octave lower. So this is a little bit of an extreme effect for drums, but you can see how you can have some fun with this. We just made that drum loop pretty lo-fi without using any plugins. Let's try this on piano now. This is what our piano sounds like. This is a piano sample that I created from another song. So let's make this lo-fi. So what we're gonna do is halve the length again, create a new track, record enable it, go to resampling, make sure that the piano is soloed, and let's record this in. Cut off that little tail so it's exactly 2 bars long. And now let's do the opposite. We'll double the length. Let's hear that resampled piano in its lo-fi version. Pretty similar to the original, but it has a little bit of those artifacts, and that's what Helado was talking about. Different software will achieve this effect differently based on its algorithms. Ableton is sort of notorious for having very good warping, so in one sense, Ableton may not be the best for this lo-fi technique because it kind of does such a good job at changing the pitch and tempo of samples. But why don't we switch to the Beats warp mode for this piano and see how that sounds? With this one, I like the back and forth transient loop mode because it's very lo-fi. It's like very vinyl-y almost. If we threw on a vinyl sample underneath this, we'd be good to go. There it is. Now I've got my original stems on the left and on the right, all of my lo-fi samples. So we can hear the comparison where it'll play first the original stems and then it will go straight into the lo-fi version. And this is so cool. You can see how there really are endless creative possibilities with a technique like this, changing the warp modes, changing how much they're sped up and slowed down by. And the beautiful thing is that we're not using any plugins. So this is all just the built-in software in Ableton using warp modes. So let's recap the technique. Choose any audio sample. Make sure that warp mode is enabled. And then you're going to have the tempo by clicking this divide by button. Then you create a new track, enable recording, and go to resampling as the input. Then we record this in. Make sure the new audio sample is exactly the same length. And then with the new audio sample, we just double the original tempo. And now we're back at the correct tempo, but the audio sample is now slowed down, which makes it sound lo-fi. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video that if you stick around till the end, we'll do some extra fun surprises. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this piano sample and we're going to slow it down using different software. So first off, we're going to use Screenflow, which is the software I use to record my screen, because Screenflow's algorithm for speeding and slowing is like kind of bad, but it sounds really, really sick when you use it musically. And then second, we're going to do it with Premiere Pro, which is my video editing software, because that has even different algorithm for speeding and slowing things down. So let's do that now. All right, so I exported that little piano sample from my Ableton project, and I brought it into a new Screenflow document. That's the sped up piano. This is double the tempo of what it should be, so I'm going to slow it down by 50% inside Screenflow. Here's what it sounds like. So now I can export this audio file, put it back in my Ableton project, and have it as a different version of that piano. Let's try it out in Premiere. This is the video editing software that I use from Adobe, and I have my piano sample inside a new project in Premiere. Now let's slow this down by 50% as well. And let's hear it. So Premiere uses like a repitching type thing. When you slow something down, it will take the pitch down as well, and vice versa. If you speed something up, it will increase the pitch. It sounds pretty cool an octave lower like this, so I'm going to try taking this into my project as well. So the point of this is just to illustrate that different software uses different algorithms to process slowed down and sped up samples. And just as Helado said in his tweet, you can use this to make samples lo-fi without using any plugins, because the software is just trying to deal with this sped up and slowed down sample, and the artifacts that it creates makes it sound kind of lo-fi and really cool.
Am I still streaming?
head down to the description below, download the samples that we used in the song, and you can download my session file. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Thanks so much. See you next time.